Hey everybody, I am your host, Miss Wedeh Guar, and today happens to be a beautiful day with another co-host bringing you something interesting, just not for me, but mostly for all. This topic is something that everybody needs in their life. A lot of us feel that we work for money, but I think it should be the other way around. Money should work for us, right? And today's topic that I'm going to get into. But before I get into it, I would love for my guest, my co host, Mr. Connor Tyson, to please go ahead and give a brief intro about himself, why he's here, and what he's working on for us.
Thank
Take it
you,
away,
Eddie.
sir.
Yeah, so my name's Connor Tyson. I'm a personal financial wellness coach. The reason I'm here today is that I love Weddy's mission. She wants to help single mothers get ahead and better themselves up and level up. And one of the areas in their life is finances, right? It's one of the pillars of life, and they don't teach this stuff in schools. And I
No, they
figured, you know
don't.
what? Let me get behind that mission and help Weddy in what she's trying to accomplish.
I'm so grateful and I'm glad that you're here. So, as a financial coach, how long have you been in financing?
Yeah, so way back, I got a degree in finance. I was a financial advisor for 23 years. I
Wow.
still have all my licenses and stuff like that, but now my primary focus is coaching, habits and behaviors, getting down to the basics, the stuff they should have taught you in schools, right? We didn't have positive role models growing up to teach us about this stuff, and we've been trying to
Right.
build a car driving down the highway, and a lot of us are lost, right? So, yeah, so a long time. I'm a chartered financial consultant, like CHFC, which means I basically know a lot about a lot of different things in the area of
Mhm.
finance.
Thank you for being here. I'm thrilled to have you here with me. And I'm sure that I'll say our now because for every guest that I have with me on the show, you're part of the family now. So thank you for being here. And our guests, the audience, they're going to welcome this topic. And today's topic is mastering money as a single mom. How do we master money as a single mom? Because a lot of single mothers who works 9 to 5, I promise you, I don't know about the whole world, but I know majority of single mothers who are working 9 to 5 tend to struggle in this area when it comes to balancing money or mastering money. What do you
Yeah,
think?
it's not just 9 to 5 either, and it's not just single moms. A lot of people struggle with this area, but the unique thing about single moms is just you, right? No one's
Yeah,
coming to save you, right? So
right.
it's not mastering money, it's you mastering it, it's you telling money what to do, right? Becoming
Mm.
proactive versus reactive. Instead of,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, having your money happen to you, you happen to your money, right? And it's a mindset set shift in that, listen, we're about to go into the holidays, which we'll get into. And instead of looking back and being like, listen, I work really hard, long
Mm-hmm.
hours, and I have nothing to show for it. And it's frustrating and it's
Mm-hmm.
demeaning. It's like, it's soul sucking at times, right?
It
And
is.
it's really tough. And no one's really sat down with you and really maybe explained to you what money is, what it does, what you can do with it, how to save it, prioritization of different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And usually, as a money coach, it's funny. It has nothing to do with money. Everybody thinks it's a numbers thing. It's not, right? It's really habits and behaviors,
Mm.
right? And once you start instituting some of these habits and behaviors, slowly, it's a process, not an event, you will start seeing the fruits of your labor and have something to show for it. Yeah. So I'm not trying to just talk behind it. It comes down to process,
Right.
meaning like I don't have a process or lack thereof, or the process I'm using is not working. I'm playing
Okay.
whack-a-mole with my bills. I'm, taking money from Peter to pay Paul, and the inch, or some of the techniques are like the ostrich technique, right? We talked about this before, where it's like, yeah, it's just gonna go
Can you
away,
give us a
right?
brief description and can you go into that? Because, pre interview, when you came up with that concept, my mind was blown. I would love for you to please give us an example of
Yep.
what you're
So
talking about.
you have the bills coming in, and it's you're trying to stay up with it, and you're not a numbers person. You tell yourself, I'm not a numbers person. I'm
Right.
not good with money, right? You say that to yourself, and the reaction to that is to ignore it, right?
Mm,
You kind of resign yourself to this is just the way it's going to be, and you put your head in the sand like an ostrich, thinking that it's going to blow over, and then like there's too much month left over at the end of the money, and you kind of glance up and you're like, yep, the bills are still there, and
yeah.
nothing's really changed, right? So the ostrich technique is just ignoring it,
Wow.
right? So
So,
that's the
like, how can single mothers, or yeah, because the main audience that we are targeting is single mothers, especially for the ones who work 9 to 5. How can we have ways to manage and track our spending as far as, well, let me just make it simple, budgeting.
budgeting. Okay, so budgeting is just a tool,
Okay.
right? If it was simple as budgeting, there's an app for that. There's a
Okay.
spreadsheet for that. Your audience has probably already tried that, right?
Okay.
So you have to take a step before that, which is the motivation of why you're doing it. It's not the what you need to do, because most of us know what to do, believe it or not, right? If I asked anybody in the audience, how do you become wealthy? It's spend less than I make, save, avoid debt, give. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
But what is it that's missing, right? And we usually fall off track somewhere. So I start with the why, the motivation of why am I starting this journey in the first place? Why am I looking to change this area of my life,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what is it preventing you from doing? Write that out. What is it making you feel? How long have you felt like this? Who else is dependent upon this change? Now,
Wow.
the thing about single mothers is that is not too hard to find the motivation. Right? You have kids and they're dependent
Right.
upon you.
Right.
But you have to go deeper than that. It's kind of like if I wanted to go to the gym and lose 10 pounds, that's not really the why I want to go. Right? I want to get out of debt. That's not what I want. What I want is the feeling of being out of debt and what that would enable me to do. You have to take
Mm.
it down a couple levels deep and really get into the core root of what that is. That's the motivation, the rocket fuel that'll break you through the walls of the way in which you operate with money. It's habits and behaviors. You got to change the way in which you're doing things. And then once you get the why, real critical, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's gain control. That's the tools and resources, the process. That's the second step.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I've seen numerous times is people are like, rah, rah, his kumbah, I'm going to take control. And they start, but then they fall off. And then it builds more guilt, shame, remorse around money and guilt and
But
like,
why do
oh,
you
see,
think
I'm
they
just
fall
not,
off
it
though?
reinforces that whole money mindset of, I'm just not a money person. I'm not good with money. This will never happen. They resign themselves to that and they resign themselves to becoming a statistic where if they have the why,
Mm-hmm.
it money is the way in which we operate with everything is really a habit and behavior. I talk about how I'm a righty. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been brushing my teeth with my right hand since I've known how to brush teeth. Someone comes along and says, listen, you got to start brushing your teeth with your left hand. I'm like, what? It's going to be awkward. It's going to be
Yes.
uncomfortable. I want to revert back to the way things were, the way I was comfortable with operating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with money. Same thing with going to the gym. Same thing with anything you want to change in your life. You have to have a big enough reason of why you're going to go through the uncomfortability to change the habits and behaviors. And then when you want to fall back or you revert back to the old behaviors, you have to have an
Mm-hmm.
accountability partner. Somebody that can identify with your why. Other single
Mm-hmm.
mothers, do you hear me out there? You
Yeah.
guys have a tight knit bond. You guys not commiserate, but you understand the challenges that other women are going through at the same time. The
Right.
challenges. And you talk to that and you support each other. That's a huge, huge asset.
Right.
And then when you start slipping a little bit, you hold up your why. Your accountability partner says, listen, is this still important to you?
Mm.
Is this the reason why you still want to do this? Okay, great. Let's do this together. right?
Wow.
Then the tools and resources become easier because that's just the ladder to get out of the hole, right? But you want to make sure your ladder's on the right wall
Mm-hmm.
before you
So you
start
don't
this journey.
fall. Right. So you don't fall. Because if it's
Yeah.
not standing, you're gonna fall. So why do you think a lot of single mothers or people fall off the ladder?
Well, because number one, instant gratification. They
Mm-hmm.
want to have things now. And right, and just human nature. You don't have to be a single mother, right?
Right.
There has to be a softer, easier way to this. And we want things now, and it's tough. Like the one thing that you guys do that is amazing to me is the amount of work and focus you put in behind things. There's nothing more dangerous than a single mom. There isn't,
Please
right?
check.
Check, right? And like you guys can get very tenacious. Once you get something in your head and you want something for your
Go
babies,
for it.
that's it. Get out of the way,
Yeah.
right? Because come hell or high water, you're going to accomplish that
Yeah,
thing.
we're gonna get it because I feel that the reason why we are so, when I say level headed, we have our heads straight forward when we want to achieve a certain goal, all because we don't want to be ridiculed by society. We want to achieve that goal because we are the only ones here saving ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're doing it not just for us, but for our children. So, speaking of money, how can a single mother or how can one create an emergency fund? Like something simple. Why is it important for us to create funds in our life? Something to fall back on
Yeah, it's safety,
just in
right? So,
case,
yeah,
like
it's
building
safety.
that.
So the one unique thing about women that I found working with them is that you guys have a security gland, meaning you want to have safety and security. It's usually a very important primary thing that you guys want,
Hmm.
right? Where men are just like, I'll figure it out. And, it's more about the things for them, right? And providing and so on and so forth. But
Hmm.
the way in which you do this is you have to prioritize where you're at. Number one, find out where you are, right?
Hmm.
And then get a process to knowing where your money's going right now. I sit down with people and I do a quick money plan. I hate the B word, budget. Ugh, it's like broccoli. A money plan. I got 80% of the things I did last month are probably the same bills I'm going to pay in the month ahead. So
Hmm.
if I actually look ahead in the month proactively and I plan out the month, I have fixed expenses and I have variable expenses. And then I have unique things that happen in the month coming up. Is there any birthdays? Is there any holidays? Is there any what's going on? And I have to account for those things in my budget, in my money plan. Then, if getting an emergency fund is a priority, I put that in the budget as if it's a bill. I'm paying myself first.
Mm.
Why would I do that? Is because life happens. Refrigerators break down, tires need to be replaced, kids get sick. I have two of them myself.
Hmm.
And you need to put monies aside because if you don't have money, you need it, you're going to need to borrow. And borrowing
Right.
money is just slows down the process of wealth building. So you want to separate enough space between you and life for the unforeseen emergencies, right? And you can start small, $50 a month. I don't care what it is. And then as things happen, when you go through that emergency and you actually have
Hmm.
cash instead of actually putting it on debt, that's a success. You celebrate that success and then it becomes contagious because now you know it works.
Hmm.
And then you know what to do next time because life is going to happen again. So once you get a budget, you put that in your budget, emergency fund, you want to
Hmm.
figure out how much you need, right? You start off with something small, like let me get $1,000.
Hmm.
Then it's like, okay, I want to get 3 months of my fixed needs, the things I need in my life. What are my
Hmm.
needs? Shelter, food, I need heat, medicine is a need, transportation. Once I have those numbers, you know your numbers, you
Right.
multiply that by 3 for 3 months. And that's your next goal to build that up. Okay. And once you get that,
So
now you're going to kill the debt.
So, given all these tips and strategies that you're pouring here, it's like free gems.
Thank you.
Where can people find you to book
Yeah, yeah.
with
So
you?
on my
Because this is something that someone is going to need help with.
yeah. So the best place to reach me is my website, right? So I came up with the name Progress Solutions. That's the name of my company. Why? Because I had a friend that was one day like, listen, I'm not making any progress. I
Mhm.
feel stuck. And I was like, oh, I can be the solution to that. He's like, there's a name there. So you go to
Mhm.
www.progressfc, like financial coaching,
Okay.
progressfc.com. All your listeners get a 45-minute consultation free. We talk about where their situation is. There's tools and resources on there. My guiding principle in life is to be of service of others. That's why I'm on here today, to help as many people as I can to get out from underneath. Because I know that feeling. I've been there, right? And it is not a good place, and it's horrible, right? But yeah, so that's the best place to reach me. It's pretty
Okay.
straightforward how I work, what I do, what you get. I work with people for 3 months. Why? Because one session's not going to do it.
Right.
But it starts with the first step, right? And it's judgment free. Like I used to be embarrassed and like, listen, my numbers are, this is pretty bad. It's not that bad. I've seen way worse. Believe me, I've been doing this for more than 20 years, right? 23 years, more than that. I've heard it all. Okay. But if you're done feeling the way you're feeling and you've tried it on your own numerous ways and you feel like you're a failure,
Mhm.
call.
Yeah.
Book in a session and I will give you some hope and give you testimonials of other people that have
Mhm.
gone before you and have figured out how to do this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We talked about building emergency funds, right? I want us to talk about debt management.
Debt management. Okay.
Debt management.
So
Are there any strategies to pay your debt off, especially when you're on a high or low budget?
yeah. So number one, stop the bleeding. I
Okay.
always start with this. No one has sat down and explained to you what money is. I'm gonna blow some minds here in the
Okay.
audience,
Please
but
go ahead and blow it.
ready?
Take it away.
I'm gonna get
Yes.
I'm gonna take it there. Ready? So I'm gonna get on my soapbox and explain what money is.
Okay.
Ready? Let's just say and how it ties into debt and what that is. Okay, you have to understand what you're doing to yourself. So what money is, right? We know what money is. It's currency. It's transfer of goods and services. We know that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what does it represent? What does it stand for? What does it represent? Ready? Let's just say, Weddy, I mow your lawn,
Mm-hmm.
all right, and it takes me 2 hours, and you give me $100.
Mm-hmm.
You hand that $100 to me. What does that $100 represent? It represents 2 hours of time and the sweat off my own brow, the labor.
Mm-hmm.
During those 2 hours, you could have learned a new language, played chess, spent time with your kids, got your hair and nails done, whatever you
Right.
wanted to do. Okay. So what is it that money represents is time and labor. So when you borrow debt, when you borrow, you go into debt to either somebody or a company or whatever it is, what is it you're actually doing? You're borrowing against your future self, time
Mm.
and work.
Mm.
So if you want to have freedom, which is time, right, to do what you want to do when you want to do it, you got to get out of debt. Because if you're always in debt, you're working for other people and you don't have the time and freedom to do the things you want to do. You're stuck in the dead end job to pay the bills, right? And money, your biggest resource, your biggest tool to wealth building is your income. And if the majority of your income is going outside to pay bills, i.e., American Depressed, MasterCard,
Right.
Discover You're Broke, all these other things, right? It slows down that process and virtually makes it impossible, especially at the interest rates we're paying.
Mm.
So hopefully that gave somebody a little fire underneath them to be like, okay, I
It
get
gives
it now. I
somebody, it
see the
gives
game.
me, it just give me,
Yeah, it
it
gave me,
just
when I
give
realized
me.
this a while ago, I was like, wow. And
Yeah,
it's
I'm
not,
like, wow.
yeah, it's not a math problem. It's behavior. So you have to stop the bleeding. No more debt. And then the best way to get out of debt, there's 4 different ways. The way in which I use is behavioral, which
Mm-hmm.
is called the snowball method. Many people have maybe heard this before, but basically what it is, you list your debts smallest to largest by the balance. Forget about the interest rates. It's not a math problem, it's a behavior problem. So
Mm-hmm.
now, great, smallest to largest. I pay the minimums on everything except the smallest balance. I take all my energy and I attack the smallest balance with a vengeance, like a single mama bear. Okay?
Yeah.
And I take all my money and any extra cash flow from side hustles, anything
Mm-hmm.
else, and I put it towards that debt. And once that's done, I take it off my list and I take the minimum from that card and snowball it into the second smallest balance. And then any other extra money I have. And I continue this process until I am debt free. And once I'm debt free, I look back on all the hard work I had to do and what it took to get there. And I get real clear on what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably won't go back into debt. And I'll start paying myself instead of all these other places that I was paying before. And I start paying myself and saving towards my future and what I want.
You're giving some mind blowing, some wow in my mouth. Like, I'm just like, wow, wow. So I knew some things that you said I'm aware of, and some I'm totally lost. But I'm open to being educated, especially when it comes to money management, when it comes to money working for me, because I don't want to work for money. I truly feel that money should be my slave, like work for me.
Yeah, work. So the way you do that, you got to tell it where to go. Like we said
Yeah,
before,
tell
like,
where to go and spend it where it's supposed to be spent.
yeah, wealthy people know where their money is, why it's there, and what it's doing there.
Mm,
It's true. And the
yeah,
grass is always greener on the other side, right? Why? That guy takes care of his lawn.
thank you.
That's why.
That's
So
why.
if you're done feeling the way you're done, and you're like, okay, today's the day. What do I got to do? Well, I got the answer for you. But it's like this. It starts with your why. It's not about me. It's not about numbers on a piece of paper. It's what is it preventing you from doing? How long have you felt like this? What would it feel like to actually be in control
Mm-hmm.
and be proactive and do the things you want to do when you want to do them and be able to provide for those around you, right? And yeah,
So speaking of money working for us, how can one create that opportunity to boost their earnings? Especially like, okay, for a single mom, you're just by yourself, right? And no one is coming to save you. There's no savior other than you. So, how do we change that to make our money work for us when it comes to like side hustles and all that?
yeah, you got to make it a priority. Meaning, like, okay, everybody has 168 hours in a week. What you do
Mm-hmm.
with that time is up to you. Now, I know the majority of it is providing for others, and you have different priorities of what's going on. But if you don't carve out time to figure out how you're going to do what you want to do when you want to do it, you're always going to be answering to other people. You got to put yourself first. It's very one of the challenges a lot of single mothers have. They put everybody before themselves, right? And if you're constantly do that, you're always at the bottom of the list. If
Done.
something is important enough to you and you have to figure out a way to do it, you got to carve away time to do that. And it might be going back to school to get a degree. It might be setting up a side gig online
Mm-hmm.
at night when the kids
Yeah.
are asleep. It might be collaborating with other single women. Like, okay, what do we always need? And
Yeah.
figuring out a solution, right? People buy what they need and what they want. So there's a lot of things out there, and scarcity mindset is tough to get over because there's enough money out there.
Mm-hmm.
I
There
mean,
is.
trillions and trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's
There is.
flowing all over the place.
There is.
And all you have to do is carve out your little niche of what that is and provide a solution to a problem. People don't buy things, they buy solutions.
Right.
And if you can find that solution that people need and want, the money will just happen. But you
And
have to
that is
stay with it. It's consistency.
right.
All these like fast money schemes and stuff, it doesn't work, right? And you want to have something that's sustainable,
Yes.
long growth.
Long
That's
term.
why like these no spend challenges, that's not sustainable. That's not
No.
a habit forming. That's not a healthy habit. Yeah, you'll save some money because you haven't spent anything. Talk to me after the end of this. Are you happy? No, right? How's
Hmm.
your stress level, right?
Right.
How's your health? How's your relationships with others? Or you're denying yourself those things that you want. And it's like that's not. I'm the of the abundance, right?
Right. Abundance.
I can't afford this scarcity yet. I can't afford this yet. Yet
Yeah.
opens up my mind to the possibility. I just have to figure out a way to do it.
Do it. Do it. I don't have it now, but I'm going to get it.
Correct. And
Yeah.
then we use three state refocus, right? What's important? Why is it important? Priorities. What are the principles and values in your life that it represents?
Hmm.
Gain control. What are the tools and resources I need? What is my wise counsel? Where else can I get advice on? Because you're by yourself. I need to go outside of myself and get skills and knowledge from other people that have gone before me. What did you do? Smart people learn from their mistakes, but really smart people learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, then set a plan and execute, meaning accountability and follow through. Get an accountability partner
Hmm.
to push you through those hills and valleys. Those valleys are lonely sometimes and
Yeah.
scary.
Yes, they are.
And it's like, okay, you need somebody to prop you up and help you and push you through those things.
Hmm.
And if you stay on that path and knock on that door long enough, people will answer.
Yes. I know we're crunching on this, but before I let you go or before this episode comes to
Yeah,
an
yeah.
end, right? I would love for you to please tell our audience how can we teach our kids the value of money?
The value of money?
The value of money because as we grow as humans, we tend to learn. That's if only we're open to learning
Yes.
the value of money, right?
Yep.
Teaching our kids, I feel like teaching our kids the value of money lets them understand that, okay, mommy spend money because mommy needs to know where this money is going to work for her. And I need to instill these values in you. So, how do we teach our kids the value of money?
Yep. So be a teacher in that I have two children, and growing up, I taught them the value of money by two things. One, I had to set boundaries. I had to actually say no. That's tough
Hmm.
sometimes as a single mom out of guilt, shame, remorse. I'm trying to do what I got
Yeah.
to do, and I'm trying to make up for some shortfalls in my life and blah blah blah. You got to separate yourself from that. In that,
Hmm.
find out, get down to their level and find out what's important to them. What is it they want, and guide them through this. Saying, okay, you want a bike or a video game.
Hmm.
Have them set a goal just like you would.
Hmm.
Okay, it's going to be $100. When you need money, that means you need to work. You have to have them equate work with money,
Hmm.
right? In the beginning. So give them some chores and actually pay them for that work, and then they get the fruits of their labor when they connect money and work. Okay, now
Hmm.
they have that money. And get excited about this, right? Teach them that saving and have like a thermometer on the side of the refrigerator and let them see the progress of their hard work, right? And then when they actually get that money, you make it a big deal. And you say, okay, great, we're going to go to the store and you're going to pay for this. They take the money, they hand it over. They'll pause for a second. They'll look and they'll know all the work that they had to do to get that money.
Put in,
They'll
right.
hand it over. They'll get that thing they wanted. They'll be very excited and proud of themselves.
Hmm.
But then you say, what do you need? Bill of sale. I need a receipt. That receipt represents all that work. Because if things don't work out, you can return it. Right? Like, oh,
Hmm.
great. And then do that over and over again for little things. Right? I don't give an allowance. I give them called commissions for work. They
Hmm.
do things around the house, simple things like replace the paper towels, make sure that the plates are done, the dishes, what. and they get small amounts of money. If they don't do the work, they don't get paid.
They don't get paid.
Right? They don't get the money. But now, why are they have all this money? What can you do with it? You can save it. You can spend it. It's okay to spend money, and you can give, and you do the different percentages. I have access to a free video game to teach kids about money. It's called Money Mavericks. That's on there. If anybody needs that, I can put that link in there, and you can sign up for the holidays or whatever it is that we're going into.
Yes.
And you can actually have that video game for your preteens. It's mostly for preteens, right? 10 to maybe 9, 10. I don't know. These video games nowadays, these kids play early, but it's a great video game. It's free. It'll teach them about money. They start as a teenager. They got to get a job. They got to get an apartment. They get a car. And the whole object is to retire wealthy as a millionaire, but happy. Right? If you're working, how are your relationships?
Yeah.
How's your health? And it relates all that stuff. So it exposes them to, it's not just about money. I know a lot of wealthy people that are miserable. Their family life's a wreck. Their health, they're having heart attacks. Their spirituality's at nothing, right? Not the way I want to be, right? So money, don't let money define you. Define money. What does wealth mean to you? Right?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, single mothers, whoever comes across this episode, here you have it. Let money work for you. Don't work for money. And money is always supposed to work for you. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I got so many strategies and tips that I'm going to implement in my personal life from this episode. I don't know about our audience, but I would love to use a lot of the things that you said. And I am going to book a session with you. I'm grateful that you're here. And I'm so thrilled to see someone like you take on this responsibility of being of service to people. Thank you so much. Can we find you on any social media platform? Are you available on any socials?
Yep. So my website, there's Instagram, Connor the Financial Coach.
Okay.
Facebook, you can just look me up, Connor Tyson.
Okay.
My business is on there, Progress Solutions. I think you'll put the links in there. But yeah, you can reach me through my website, and then if you guys want, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm available anytime. There's a lot of videos, blog pieces. If this is an area you're thirsty for, I want to quench that thirst. So
he said it. He want to quench that thirst. If you're thirsty, this is where you should be going. Again, thank you so much for being a part of our audience. And you are not a stranger. You're part of a family now. So welcome and stay with us. Again, folks, thank you for listening to the episode of Mastering Money as a Single Mom. But this is just not for single mothers. You can use this in your life as well. If you need help, book a session with Mr. Tyson. We are on social media, Instagram, Solo Shift Podcast, Facebook, Solo Shift Podcast, Twitter, Solo Shift Podcast, and TikTok, Solo Shift Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Wedeh. Thank you so much for listening to us. Don't be a stranger. Subscribe and follow for more. Don't forget, there is no hood like a 9-to-5 single working parenthood. Be blessed. Love yourself more than you love others. You know how to love yourself. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.